Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to look at how we can embed forms or maps which we already made into a PowerPoint. Um, this is a version of a map, and then this one is, I believe, a version of a form which we made previously. Now, in a previous tutorial, we talked about how we were going to use these links. So make sure you've got those copied or they're on your assets table already, so that should be fine. And we're going to use a piece of software called Poll Everywhere. I'm going to show you where you can get that from, and then I'll also show you what the alternative is if you do not have admin rights. Now, assuming you own your own laptop or computer, then you can just use Poll Everywhere. So if you go onto Poll Everywhere, go onto apps, you don't need an account, and you can just download Poll Everywhere for Windows or Poll Everywhere for Mac. Unfortunately, I don't think you can do the embed on Google Slides, but once you've installed it, I'll talk you through like the install stage, because essentially it's given on the website as well. I searched how to embed a website, and it just talks you through it here. So you download it, Poll Everywhere, you press install, and then finish. And then what you'll see is that when you open up PowerPoint again, the next time you open up PowerPoint, you'll have this Poll Everywhere tab, and you can just say insert a web page. It'll come up with this box, and you can just paste in those URLs that you copied into your assets table, and then it'll put a placeholder in. Simple as that. Now, I don't have admin rights on this laptop because it's a school laptop. So what I needed to do is I needed to download the old Liveslides version. So I just searched Liveslides download, and it's liveslides.software.informa.com. Now, just be wary when you're downloading from this third party. It will try and download like a bit of uh, like bloatware, and it'll try and get you to install software.informa as well. So you just press like download now, um, and it should just download or keep it. And when you go to install, just check the options that you do not add software.informa on there as well. I don't think I can demo that because I've already got this installed. But what happens is when you run it, press install to start the installation. Yeah, okay. Somewhere in here, it'll say, do you also want to install software.informa and keep them up to date and tracking all that stuff? You need to press no on that. But as mine's already installed, it won't show that. Okay, so in your PowerPoint then, if you installed Poll Everywhere, you'll have the Poll Everywhere tab. Otherwise, you'll have this Liveslides tab now. I'm going to warn you and say that if you've got hyperlinks already done, like most of you have, because you've been using a master slide, you've got your hyperlinks, I'm afraid you're going to have to redo them if you're using a live slide. So say, for example, you want to insert something on this track and field page or on this second page here, don't assume that it will automatically link to it. You will have to redo your links. I'll explain it here. I'm using live slide, so I'm going to go live slide and insert a live slide. It'll pop up with this thing here, and all I need to do is paste in the URL that was already in my assets table. So for this form, this jot form, I just copy this link, or if I'm on Cognito forms, I copy this link, and I'm going to paste that in the little box here, look. Paste, insert. What that actually did is it made a new slide, so we need to link to that slide now. Don't just assume that all your hyperlinks will work. It's actually a completely new slide. Yeah, so the form does work, it does load. You can type in here, and when you submit, it'll email you the results. The only thing is, if that is my medals page, I need to redo the hyperlinks. So I need to go to View, Slide Master, go on to my top slide. If this is my second slide and I want to link to that live slide, then I would need to insert my action and say I want to link to, yeah, slide, and it's this slide here with that live slide content on it. Highlight, click, mouse over. Yes, I need to do all of that. Press OK, and then we can go back to normal view. And then now when we're on here, if we want to go into the medals page and it has like, well, it could be content then that works. The maps. Now I made like one error with the map and I had to re-record the tutorial as such. When you're on the map, actually, say for example, you got London Bridge, and we said you either need to take this URL or you need to take this URL here, the embed one. Actually, I was wrong. You want the one that says send a link. You want the shortened URL here. So go back, find the thing that you wanted, and you want this shortened link here, and we're going to copy that one. Let's insert our live slide or a poll everywhere slide. So insert live slide here. And for some reason it's minimized as well. Paste that in, insert. And if we look at that, you'll see that the map should work as such. Lovely. And it'll have the little sidebar in it. It's interactive, so it should move around as well, and you should be able to zoom out. The size is too big though for me, so I am just going to make that slightly smaller so that it all fits in. And don't forget to go back and redo your hyperlinks as well. So that explains how to insert a website onto your interactive multimedia product. Perhaps you've got other ideas for things that you want to insert as well. So it might not be a form, it might not be this. You might want to just insert like the BBC News, like London News or something like that on your site. So it keeps like a live feed of what's going on in London as well, or like a Twitter feed or something. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, if one last thing is if you're in say Google Slides, then what I would recommend you doing is because you can't necessarily embed this because Poll Everywhere and Liveslides doesn't work on Google Slides, I would just use the snipping tool. So go to Start and go into Snipping Tool, and then just snip it as such. And then we add that snip onto your Google slide. I know you might think, oh well, that sounds a bit budget really. It doesn't seem like a very satisfactory solution. But I think given the circumstances, if you are using Google Slides because you don't have access to PowerPoint, I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's something that you can probably fix when you get into school. So you just paste in that here, and it would still look the same. It's just you won't get the interactivity that we had on PowerPoint. And likewise with the forms, I would just snip it and add that in. I hope that's useful. And that is how to insert a website or web content like a form or a map onto PowerPoint.